And if you are setting up for number 2 here, you're going to want to have a calculator handy because we're going to use a calculator to find each value, and we're going to round our answers to the nearest thousandth. So if you watch the first video, we are starting to look at the reciprocal functions to sine, cosine, and tangent. So we're going to use a calculator to find each value, and we're going to start by doing secant of 2.5 radians. So you head to your calculator, and you look. So sine, cosine, tangent, there they are. But you look around at any of the other, we got sine inverse. That's an algebraic function that we'll use in pre-calc. But we don't have a secant button. We don't have a cosecant button or a cotangent button. And your calculator doesn't have one. So what you have to do is you have to use the definition of cosecant, secant, and cotangent to solve these. So let's look back to what we're looking at first. So we're trying to find the secant of 2.5. Well, secant is defined as the reciprocal of cosine. So to calculate this, we are not using secant. We're going to use the reciprocal of secant, which is 1 over the cosine of 2.5. So you will not find a secant button. You will not find a cosecant button. You have to use the definition of secant, which is 1 over cosine. So we are going to, in our calculator, do the reciprocal 1 over the cosine of 2.5. So I head back to my calculator. You can do this a couple of ways. You can hit 1 divided by the the secant. It goes with cosine, so the cosine of 2.5, and you'll get your answer. Oops, I forgot one major thing. Hold on here. Should have started with this. Sorry about that. You want to make sure, since we're doing 2.5, you want to make sure you're in radian mode. So if you missed that, all I did is hit mode, and you're going to want to make sure that radian is highlighted. There we go. So again, I'll put that same thing in, 1 divided by the cosine of 2.5. And there's our result. We're going to get negative 1.248, and that's going to be to the nearest thousand. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths will bring us to that 8 right there. All right, back to our problem. We had negative 1.248. Perfect. So there's our secant of 2.5. Cosecant is defined as 1 over the sine. So it's the reciprocal of sine. So we're going to do 1 over the sine of negative 0.2. And again, head back to our calculator. This time I'm going to show you a different way. You can use your fraction button, alpha y equals. Put a 1 up in the numerator, and then you can put a sine of negative 0.2 down in your denominator, and you'll get your cosecant calculated. So negative 5.033. And that's the nearest thousandth. So we go tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So there's your cosecant. Now lastly, we got cotangent of 56. And we're going to start mixing in where we have radians. So radians, there's no label for radians. It's just using the units there. Degrees, we'll see the little degree marker. So we are now going to find the cotangent of 56 degrees. Well, my calculator reads angles in 2 different ways, and I was in degree mode because I had been doing some of these beforehand. But now, since I changed it to radian for those last 2 problems, which is right here, I need to go over and highlight degree. So I'm going to go over to degree, hit enter. Now I'm black on the degree with the white letters. Now my calculator is in degree mode. And same as before, when we're finding a cotangent, we're going to do 1 over the tangent of 56. 56 degrees now. So back to our calculator. We can hit 1 divided by the tangent of 56. And there's my result, 0.6745. That 4 is going to round up to a 5 because there's a 5 following it. So I'm going to have a 0.675. So again, you will not find these secant, cosecant, cotangent buttons anywhere on your calculator. You will have to use the definition of reciprocals, which we have our sine, cosine, tangent buttons, and we can easily calculate those. So go ahead, give that a try. And later on, we will also use our calculator a little bit more.